Hi, welcome to Chez, Fleur podcast, where we talk to women that own businesses, are in small businesses. They're doing the ups and downs, all the challenges that each day brings, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fun. And today we have with us Shannon, and she owns Sugar Me Right here in Peterborough. So I'm really excited. It's taken a while for us to connect, and we're really glad that we have connected. And I can't wait to hear your story. So, have you always been an esthetician or in the estheticious, is that right? Business?
In aesthetics.
In aesthetics.
No,
Okay.
actually, sugaring is something I was doing personally long before it became a career choice, really. I was doing it at home and I absolutely loved the results. Years later, the product became very difficult to find in stores, and so I decided to get trained myself. And what started out as solving my own problem turned into a passion for helping other people feel comfortable and more confident in their skin.
So you solved a problem for yourself and then moved on to solving the same problem for others.
That's right. Yeah.
Excellent. So how long have you been at Sugar Me with how long have you owned Sugar Me Right?
We are in our 15th year now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's gone just like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of when I hit the 15-year mark for my training, which was in November of last year, I looked at that and I went, holy cow, how did we get here?
Yeah. Time does fly.
Right.
So what um trends or changes have you noticed in your business over, say, like the last 10 years?
I would say the biggest one is really awareness because, when I first started, people had never really heard of professional body sugaring. I had to explain everything from, do I bake cakes? No, I don't bake cakes.
Right.
Do I take sugar granules and rub that all over the skin? No, that's not how we do it. I had to explain everything of how it works, or what is a body sugarist? How is that different from waxing? What are the long-term benefits for your skin, for the hair? So, now the industry is much more informed, sorry. Clients are um, more aware of what's going on with hair removal, what kind of ingredients they're looking for, um, and how it'll benefit them long term. Social media has also changed how businesses connect with their communities and allows us to educate our customers kind of on a wider base, not just within our treatment rooms. So those things.
So what is the difference between sugaring and, say, any other hair removal? What is the difference?
Well, there's some similarities and there's some differences. So, sugaring removes the hair from the root, just like waxing does, but we do it in a different way. It is a little bit more gentler for your skin in terms of it being more natural. It is sugar, lemon juice, and water. So there isn't a lot of additives, at least not with what I use. Alexandria Professional is the product I choose to use, and everything is natural and safe for the skin. We remove the hair in the direction of growth, and the longer you can keep the hair out of the follicle, the more likely it is to not grow back in. The follicle will begin to close over time.
Okay. Okay. I didn't realize that. I realized when you were talking earlier that I didn't really realize the difference, but yeah, that would make it even just it's interesting that you remove it in the direction it grows as opposed to that whole
The opposite
shaving.
direction,
Yeah, shaving goes against the, you know,
as does waxing. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, with shaving your versus sugaring, you're going to miss out on things like the razor burn and bumps and stuff that comes from that, skin irritation and whatnot that you would get from that. Um, the reason you're generally going in the opposite direction of the growth for the shaving is because you want to blunt that hair off. You're cutting it on an angle, and it lifts the hair up and cuts it. And if you were going the other way, it wouldn't be able to grab it and pull it up and cut that hair off so it would stay below the skin surface for longer, which is everybody's goal. If you're shaving, you don't want to feel anything on the skin surface. With waxing, they're taking it in the opposite direction of growth because the force of pulling it that way should pull it out. Um, Oftentimes it tends to break it, especially if the hair is becoming more fragile. And there's numbers of reasons why it could be fragile. Constant hair removal is a reason why it can become fragile. It's actually a goal. You can also have it become more fragile due to aging or lack of nutrition, even lack of hydration. So you don't want the hairs to be snapping off. It's not our goal. But one of the major differences between sugaring and waxing is that we can go back over the skin and take hairs that maybe if they did snap or they were short. Let's say they're growing in different growth cycles. Some are really long, some are really right at the skin surface and they're shorter. And we can go back over that and try to get it. But you're one and done with waxing.
Wow. Okay. You're very active with the Women's Business Network here in Peterborough. How has that helped you as a businesswoman grow your business? How is that?
Well,
Tell us about your time with Women's Business Network.
for me, the WBN isn't just about referrals, it's about relationships. Like when you build your genuine connections with other business owners, there's opportunities naturally for growth from that. Um, I see it as helping expand collaboration and partnerships and, access to community events. It also helps keep me connected to what other entrepreneurs in the Peterborough area are doing. I find it incredibly inspiring. I think it helps us all grow together.
Well, and I totally agree with that, but I also find for myself sometimes, I go to a meeting and I've got a problem and I think, oh, I've got to be the only person in the world that's dealing with this. And you listen to somebody else at the table and you're thinking, oh, yeah, I'm dealing with that too. So what are you doing? And, well, this is what I'm thinking. And I'm going, well, this is what I'm thinking. And what about, and a lot of times by the end of the meal, you've solved that problem or you're 80% of the way there to coming up with a solution that's going to be fair and viable and workable and that's one of the
Yeah.
benefits that I see.
Yeah, I mean, certainly in the WBN, we have a lot of different ranges of business from people who are entrepreneurs to people who are working in the business field. Some people are sent by their employers. And there's a wide range of ladies that we meet every month. And so the benefits of knowledge that you can get from any given person, you sit at a group of, 6 to 8 people at a table. I mean, there's a lot you can learn from others just by even listening. You don't have to be part of the conversation. We could be eating our dinner and we're just listening to the conversation and we're still getting something from that.
Over your 15 years with Sugar Me Right, what trends have you noticed in what kind of work you do? Has anything changed or is it in the process of changing or different clientele that you see that you might not have seen 10 years ago?
Well, there's one thing, and I write a blog for my school, and the thing I wrote about in January is intermediate hair growth. And that has increased greatly over the last 15 years. When I first started, we had maybe one or two customers a year that would show up with intermediate hair growth. And now, I mean, 3 or 4 a month new customers might show up with intermediate hair growth. So that's probably one of the biggest things that I've noticed that's changed. I'm sorry. I unplugged my phone to plug in the computers and the settings are not on there now.
is intermediate hair growth?
Intermediate hair growth it's a blend between what we call terminal hair growth. This is your deep-rooted hair. It's thick, it's dark, it's strong. It holds strong into the skin. And vellus hair, which is your peach fuzz, mostly found like surface of the face. And it's like these two types of hair got together and had a baby, and literally all their worst traits is in that kid.
Okay.
So that particular hair is going to be thick and strong and shallow and deep rooted, and it's going to hang on and it's clear. It's hard to see. So a practitioner often can't see that hair until you've removed all of the dark hairs. So let's say it's on a leg. We have gone over the leg a couple of times, and now we're checking the surface of the skin with our wrist. And we're noticing it's not just like, oh, hey, we missed one or two, and we know we can go back and get that one or two. It's like the whole leg is prickly still. So that's when you'll get a practitioner who's like getting right in there and having a really good look at the skin. And that's when we figure out, okay, our job just got tougher today, and also requires a little bit of education on the part of teaching the customer about it, because this is something where they may not leave that first service or even their second service with completely smooth skin. Sometimes it happens. It just depends on where they are in the stage of that growth.
Interesting. Okay, I did
Mhm.
not know that.
Yeah, and in part of my research for writing the blog, I discovered that the reason it's on the rise is because it's in relation to insulin resistance. It's kind of like the body's first sign of insulin resistance, and it happens far before any test is going to show that there's a problem.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. I know that in my industry, one of the things that growers do, actually it's with grapes, which isn't really my industry, but it's an Ontario under the Pick Ontario umbrella, is at the end of each grapevine row, they plant a rose bush,
Okay.
because what is going to be a problem for the grape will affect the rose bush first.
Sorry.
So they can tell by the rose bush that the grapevines are going to be the next target. You're back?
Oh, the phone was ringing like crazy again.
Well, we didn't hear it, so it's,
Oh, okay. Well, it's really loud here, so I'm like, oh my gosh.
yeah, no, we're good here. So you're planning on, continuing your business as you are. Can you see um something down the road coming that's going to be your next step in moving your business forward? Or is that something you can share?
Um, I mean, right now we're focused on keep plugging away the way we have been. I mean, the only thing that I'm doing new is really working harder on building my education up. I have been an educator since 2003, and now I'm working on the things that we'll bring that into the future, like the website, and I've done some audio recordings, like audio visual type thing with affirmations and stuff like that. I've done some work with creating printable things to help business owners, help practitioners map out their goals, and some things specifically for others in the industry, like the lash lift and tint toolkit and things like that. So I have spent months working on that because education has always been a big part of this. I knew that right from the very beginning when I had to educate everybody on what sugaring was, and the passion has just grown from there, right? I taught the customers what it was. I taught people all around the world, like even when I was traveling, people like, what, body what now?
Yeah.
So, from there it became I was teaching sugaring, then I was teaching facials, and now I'm working on bigger things like how to help them with their business, how to help them get over the nerves of walking into a treatment room the first time and things like that.
Well, that's great. Great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always great to have some kind of educational proponent that is specific to your industry. With sugaring, it's a little bit different than, say, a restaurant. I always relate my business to a restaurant, except that whatever's left over, we can't send home for
Yeah.
somebody to eat. We throw it, we have to throw it, goes in a compost bin. So whenever you can find some piece of education that's specific to your industry that can really push you ahead, that's always super valuable, and good on you for doing it.
Oh,
Yeah,
thanks.
good on you. We kind of like to wrap things up here with some rapid fire questions so we get to know you on a personal level just a little bit. If you're up for that, I've got some questions for you.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Stage or cinema?
Cinema.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Thick socks or slippers?
Neither.
Okay.
Sandals.
Pitt or Cooper?
Oh, there's a tricky one. Classic versus good actor versus, I think we'll go with Pitt.
Awesome. Shannon, thank you for taking time to be with us today. I know that, as I said earlier today, I said the great thing about doing this podcast is you're meeting with people that are really making it happen and are busy. I said the downside about doing this podcast is everybody's busy and it's not always easy to connect. So I'm really glad that you had time for us today, and I really, really appreciate you being on our show. Um, if you are watching Chez, Fleur for the first time, we welcome you. If you have returned to see us again with Shannon, then we're super glad to have you back. And once again, Shannon, thank you so much for being with us today. I learned a lot.
No,
I
thank you
mean,
very
I've
much for
known you
having
for
me.
a while. I learned a lot today. That was great.
Oh, I'm glad my job is done today then.
Yes, it is. Yes. On to the next. Anyway. Thank you for tuning in to Chez Fleur. We look forward to seeing you again on our next episode, and we'll see you soon. Bye.